All right, guys, let's get right into it here. So this is going to be 12-team PPR selecting from the first overall pick. There's going to be a lot of intriguing options on the board, but we're not going to overthink this one. The decision really comes down to two guys, Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs. Both of these guys have elite talent with full expectation they will be focal points of their offense. There's a great argument to be made for either player, but we're going to take our number one guy off our consensus board, Jahmyr Gibbs. As we approach the round 2 to 3 turn, we are presented with many interesting options. I start by taking a peek at the tight end position to see what options might be there, but we're going to assume for this simulation that Brock Bowers and Trey McBride are selected. This is when we pivot to the quarterback position and are presented with the best fantasy football superstar in NFL history. While most would be hesitant to take a quarterback in the second round, we're going to be all over this pick, taking a guy who has finished as a top 2 fantasy quarterback the past 6 seasons. It's tough to find good value at pick 25 at wide receiver or tight end, so we're going to take another look at running back. Most fantasy owners would opt for a safer bet as we're presented with veteran running back talent such as Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Kenneth Walker. Because we secured a high scoring floor by drafting Josh Allen, we're going to take an upside swing that could land you as a championship contender this year. Only 5 running backs have been taken in the top 3 in the NFL draft since 2000, and Jeremiah Love is one of them. The Cardinals will feature him as both a runner and a receiver, and he has more than enough talent to finish as a top 10 running back despite a less than ideal situation in Arizona. As we approach the round 4 to round 5 turn, fantasy managers should be praying that Tyler Warren falls to this pick. We see that he has been selected, so we pivot to an area of the draft where you can get a lot of upside talent at the wide receiver position. Most fantasy owners are buying the hype on Luther Burden or opting for more safer veterans such as Mike Evans and Devontae Adams. We are going a different route, taking Luther Burden's teammate Rome Odunze along with recent top 5 pick Carnell Tate. Rome Odunze proved in a small sample last season that he is capable of producing top 10 fantasy wide receiver production. Luther Burden still feels like more of a projection. Carnell Tate does have to fight off volume from guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and Calvin Ridley, but the Titans don't make Carnell Tate the 4th overall pick in the draft if they don't think both that he's the best receiver in the draft and that if he's not capable of handling big volume. I see this guy as a huge target for Cam Ward early. Approach the 6th round, we're taking full advantage of our consensus board, taking guys we have as ADP 48 and 56 at picks 72 and 73. I know that many of you guys will not like the Cleveland Browns offense going into 2026, but what you will like is a guy who finished top 5 at his position in targets last year, and he was just a rookie and now is stepping into a full-time starting role. When you miss out on one of the elite tight ends like Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, what you really want to avoid is the guys that give you those 3-point weeks and really bottom out your roster. Fanning will secure you a high scoring floor just by the amount of targets he'll be getting, but he also has enough talent that if he can build on his rookie campaign, he could be a great pick in the middle of the draft. The fantasy community is down on Alec Pierce, but there's every reason to believe he'll have an even better season than he did last year. If the Colts thought that Alec Pierce was just a deep threat, they would not have given him a contract extension worth 4 years, $114 million, and to part with Michael Pittman Jr. Tyler Warren will eat into the targets, and Daniel Jones needs to get healthy, but this pick is buying value before it shows up during the season. Our 8th round pick is our recommendation for those of you that are in leagues that have a lot of trades. The tight end position is the only position that has such a low supply and such a steep fall-off. By securing 2 tight ends, you're going to have massive trade leverage over one of your buddies once his tight ends start producing 3-point weeks in the first 2 weeks of the season. This is an opportunity to bolster your running back or wide receiver position if, say, for example, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Love struggle early, or Alec Pierce and Rome Odunze don't capture the role that we think they could have. To summarize the start of this draft, we have a quarterback in Josh Allen who is a near lock to be a top QB in fantasy. We have extremely talented running backs in Jahmyr Gibbs and Jeremiah Love that could propel us into being a contender. High upside at wide receiver with Rome Odunze, Carnell Tate, and Alec Pierce, and 2 very intriguing tight end options that we could also use as trade leverage in the first few weeks of the season.